filing in. That is pretty much the norm here for the Blue Jays this year. A starting lineup tonight is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Matt Joyce will lead off in right field, and Simeon at short. Alonso at first, Davis in left, Lowry at second, Healy will DH. Chapman's at third, Maxwell in there tonight to catch, and Rajay Davis is the center fielder.
And the former Athletic Cesar Valdez will make the start for the Blue Jays. That is, he making his first start after being out of the bullpen. He pitched well. He actually picked up by the Blue Jays when the Athletics waived him, picked him up, and because of injuries, guys on the DL, he's getting a chance to start. One thing we remember about Valdez, he does not throw hard. Upper 80s with the fastball, relies on fastball movement and changeup. See if he does it again tonight.
Here's your Blue Jays defense. Carrera in left, Pilar in center, Batista in right. Donaldson, Tulowitzki, Goins, and Smoke on the infield. And Russell Martin is once again the catcher. So Valdez fires his last warm-up pitch. Blue Jays won last night by a score of 4-2. The A's had 2 runs on 2 hits. They did not get a hit in the final 4 innings, so they'll try to change that tonight and see if they can get to Cesar Valdez early.
Well, maybe the good news, they didn't hit today. Maybe they saved their hits for Mr. Valdez starting about right now.
They did not. Blue Jays did take batting practice. A's did not.
See if the A's can get to Valdez, and maybe by not taking BP, they won't be overly aggressive and kind of sit back and wait. Because as we saw when he was with the A's, he did not throw hard.
And this one is a loop toward left field, and that'll drop for a hit in front of Carrera. So Matt Joyce goes after the first pitch of the game and drops one into left field for a base hit.
Softly done, because that's the way it was thrown, softly. But you know, as we talking to Broden and the guys in the studio about the turf, well, there's simply right there. Carrera was not going to really aggressively go after the ball. Pitches away. Matt Joyce did a great job going, but watch Carrera kind of backed off because the ball bounces very high. Watch this, and spins towards the foul line, so he stayed back, made the adjustment, got to the ball. That's what you have to do on the turf, because it's going to take an erratic hop.
Pitchcast is brought to you by Penn Fed Credit Union as Marcus Simeon steps up.
Surprising thing, watching Matt Joyce hit the ball to left field when the entire right side of the infield had 3 guys, only 1 to the left side. And he stayed on the ball, went with it.
Tulowitzki charges, flips to second for 1, back to first. In time double play.
Well, they may take a look at this one, because a little hesitation by James Hoyle, the first base umpire, which would indicate that it's close, but how close? And this is what Chip held to Adam Roden. Marcus Simeon getting to the bag, enough time. Ball's not in his glove. It looks like he's safe.
And Bob Melvin says, let's check this. And he, as you saw the replay, he is clearly safe.
Yeah, because the ball has to get into the first baseman's glove completely before he can be called out. And, you know, the hesitation by James Hoyle, that was the key. Because if it's going to be bang, bang, it usually goes one way or the other. But, man, there was too much hesitation on Hoyle's part. But see, the foot's on the bag, and it's not in the glove yet. And you could understand maybe why the hesitation, because it was somewhat bang, bang. But upon further review.
Well, upon further review, this should take about 3 seconds.
And it took 6. Let's see if it comes out in the A's favor. Safe. Good call, Kite. But it did us almost exactly what happened last night, because Rajay Davis walked, but there was Simeon walking also, then thrown out. But the one thing you get on base, Valdez wants you to jump on the first pitch.
Tim Timmons calling balls and strikes. Jeff Kellogg is at third base. He's the crew chief. And here's Yonder Alonso.
And usually the turf accelerates the ball to the infielder, and that's why a lot of infielders are able to turn the double plays here in Toronto on this artificial surface.
Alonso hits it hard, fair. Smoke throws to second, and that is a double play. Smoke stepped on the bag, and when he had to throw it to second, came a tag play, and the tag was made. So just a 4-pitch first inning for Cesar Valdez. by Cesar Valdez. So no score, half an inning. Here's the lineup tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Batista in the leadoff spot again. Then Martin, Donaldson, Smoke. Kendrys Morales in there tonight. He was not in the lineup last night. Tulowitzki, Carrera, Pilar, and Goins. That's your Blue Jays starting lineup.
And Sonny Gray makes the start, his 16th of the season. And for Sonny, a couple of his 3 wins against the Blue Jays came last year. And he has won 3, lost 1 against Toronto, 6-4 on this season. And been pitching very well lately as he has gone 7, 8, 6, 6, 6 1/3 in his last 5 starts.
Defensively, the A's have Davis, and Joyce in the outfield. Chapman, Simeon, Lowry, and Alonso on the infield with Maxwell doing the catching.
You love that law firm, don't you?
I do it. The law firm of Davis, and Joyce.
You say it just like it's a law firm, too.
How about this? The defense team of Davis, and Joyce. That would probably be
that's better.
More appropriate.
Speaking of the defense, it's straight up. How about that?
For Jose Bautista. Bautista was the designated hitter last night in the leadoff spot. Tonight back out in his normal spot in right field. He was 0 for 4. He did walk and score a run. 16 home runs, 43 RBIs, and a .219 average for Bautista. Bautista's really been struggling. He's 5 for his last 53.
Oh boy, such a threat every time he puts a bat in his hand.
He's still scary.
Oh, he is. It's just, you know, last night came close a couple of times. Get him right there all night. Get anybody all night with that pitch.
Bautista is 36 years old. He'll be 37 in October. Had some great years up here in Toronto. I think he went.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. As Tim Timmons, the home plate umpire, calls it strike 3. So that's the first down.
Well, the check swing. Sonny taking a long time to deliver the ball, and if anyone has the leg kick and timing, I think it fooled Bautista. Nice block. As we take a look at the Nissan keys of the game. Sonny Gray, trade rumors? What trade rumors? What are you talking about? There's nothing going on. And let's win one for Bob, and not Bob the audio man. Bob Melvin, who's on 999 wins for the skipper, and he's going to get number 1,000 eventually. Let's hope it's tonight. That would be a great win for the A's, and even the series at a game apiece.
First pitch to Russell Martin is down and away. Yeah, we're pulling for him.
Yep.
Bob doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't even want us to talk about it, but we're going to. Trying to become the 64th manager in baseball history to get to 1,000 wins.
You know, he loves managing so much, and especially managing the Oakland Athletics. I think that's what sets him apart, because guys will get the wins, but if he could stay in Oakland the rest of his managerial career, I don't think you'd have anybody any happier. He's the most prepared I've ever seen.
Lowry scoops it up. Martin is retired. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the first.
You know, I mentioned about the one thing that Matt Chapman, and he's a young player, and Russell Martin's caught a lot of innings. But you know, if you just run 90 feet, these people that pay their money, if they can just say, I want to see you run 90 feet. Last night, Matt Chapman hit a fly ball. It's a home run straightaway center. Makes a great defensive play. But his hustle on a fly ball got to second base, and Russell Martin, no, I'll get there eventually. But, you know, there's no pressure on an infielder when that happens. You just, well, take your time. Now, last year, remember in Houston, it cost Correa because Reddick ended up hustling after someone previously did not. And he thought he could take his time. Reddick beat it out. It was a big run. So it's 90 feet. You know, it's 5 or 6 seconds. And, again, I know from Martin's standpoint, he's behind the plate a lot catching. Legs get tired. But, man, if you're a fan paying good money, just run 90 feet.
0-1 to Josh Donaldson. Donaldson at 239, 9 home runs, 29 RBIs. 1 for 3 last night with a double and a walk and a run scored.
And it had to really hurt him literally to have to stay on the disabled list, not be able to play with a calf injury.
Yeah, he missed a lot of time.
Loves to play the game of baseball.
Missed 38 games, right?
I know. That's for him. That's like a lifetime.
It's 25% of the season.
And I'd say this: you will not see anybody any stronger and leaner, because I mean, it's a perfect case of a guy who they talk about some catchers like Joe Myers going to first base. For Josh Donaldson, he played college third base, but he was signed as a catcher. If he had stayed as a catcher, I don't know that if he'd won an MVP, I don't know if he'd hit the way he has. But at third base, it's a perfect position. He's going to get home runs. He's going to drive in runs, play a Gold Glove third base, and he's an outstanding, hard-working player.
And a foul tip hung on. Donaldson strikes out. Good inning for Sonny Gray. A couple of strikeouts. No score after one from Rogers Center. Kelly Johnson and Ray Rado bring you the best hour of sports talk in the Bay Area, the Happy Hour, tonight after A's postgame live. Lots of sunshine today in Toronto. It has not been real super hot, but very comfortable. It was hot and humid in New York, not the case here in Toronto. First pitch to Chris Davis is in for a strike. Davis, Lowry, and Healy against Cesar Valdez. Davis was 0 for 3 last night.
Now, there's some pitchers that as a hitter you go up and you know they don't throw hard, you know they have a lot of movement. The best thing a pitcher can get is a first pitch swing, especially with movement. He's not going to throw a four-seam straight fastball. So what KD did, Chris Davis took the first pitch and it was a strike, but so you fall behind. If you jump on a first pitch, it's like when a reliever comes in and he's facing the first batter and you think he's going to throw a fastball. All he does is turn the ball over, a little ground ball, sinker. All of a sudden it's out of the inning. He throws a four-seam, 92, 95 miles an hour. It might get crushed, but in the case of Valdez, he's not going to throw many straight.
And he drops down, and there's a good sinker. And Davis strikes out.
Going back to April the 20th, Valdez threw 4 innings for the Athletics against the Mariners. Threw 76 pitches. He might not throw 76 in a full game the way it's going. But this ball dropped down with the sinker, ball dropping out of sight.
So 4 games with the A's, 4 with the Jays. Yeah, he gave up 3 runs in those 4 innings against Seattle on the 20th of April.
That was a game that James Paxton pitched, and he had not given up a run in 23 innings. The A's got him for 3 in 1 inning, and Valdez came out. Bullpen did a great job. Ryan Doe, who's evidently back in Toronto with the club and due to come off the DL soon, picked up the win. Let's hope that's the case.
So he's been around. Started with Arizona, at least at the big league level.
How about that? 2,506 days between. Maybe just
well, he pitched in Mexico for a while.
Exactly.
Goins to first. Lowry's out. Yeah, the A's placed him on waivers, and then the Blue Jays claimed him on the 5th of May. So that's how Cesar Valdez got from the A's to the Jays.
And he pitched so well to AAA. That's the reason he's making the start tonight. The injury of the present seems to be the blister. So many players around baseball seem to be dealing with blisters on their fingers. Oh, Johnny Cueto.
A little bit inside, maybe a little bit high. Healy double checks. Healy at 264, 19 home runs, 56 RBIs. In first strike at 89 miles an hour.
Yeah, Cap, we talked about last night how well the Blue Jays stayed back with Chris Smith, who was not throwing hard. See if the A's can do the same thing tonight, because Valdez also in that category. While he changes speeds, but he's not overpowering with his pitches. But if you don't stay back, you're going to make easy outs.
Well, I would say his stuff is similar to that of Chris Smith.
Exactly. Ball straight down off the left foot, left shin. Even with the protection, Ryan Healy went straight down, but at least he had the protection on his left shin. It was the jolt of being hit. There is Chris Smith, who enjoyed last night. He had some comments, didn't he? I mean, he was talking about KD in left field and bumper cars and bouncing off the wall. He went 6 innings, gave up just the 3 runs. Did a very good job.
To the shortstop. Tulowitzki has it. And another quick inning for Cesar Valdez. Bottom of the second coming up. It'll be Smoke, Morales, and Tulowitzki. At McDonald's, August 10th of 2013. Sonny Gray makes his first major league start, and it was right here in Toronto. He took the loss, went 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, 4 runs, just a couple of earned runs. He had 5 strikeouts. So a memorable day for Sonny. If you remember that year, he came up and made a couple of relief appearances.
Yep.
And then he got his first major league start at the beginning of August. Facing The Blue Jays again, and the All-Star Justin Smoke rips from the right field for a base hit.
And there's your velocity, four-seam fastball, straight, crushed. Turn it over a little bit, might get a ground ball, but that ball is straight in at 93. And Sonny's very good about getting movement on his pitches, sometimes to a fault for the catchers trying to catch him. Justin Smoke very aggressively went after the ball and right to the infield.
5 starts versus the Blue Jays in his career. Good 3-1 record. He did not start when these two teams met earlier this year. He did start twice against them last year, and he beat them both times, did Sonny Gray. Facing Kendrys Morales. The first key to the game that Ray read was, talked about Sonny Gray and all the trade rumors. It's been going on for a while now. There's no big surprise there. But I will say this, Ray. Late this afternoon, the trade rumors surrounding Sonny Gray are heating up.
Sure. Well, they should, because a week from last night, it's the deadline.
And he's starting tonight.
Yeah, Sunday.
Next start would be Sunday. So there's, if you're into the whole social media thing, there's quite a bit stirring around Sonny Gray. At least that's what it says.
Well, and I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, if it does happen, last 5, you can see his 4-1 record with a 162, and in those 5 starts, he's got twice he's gone double figures, and Morales won with 11-115, and the one with Fulton Evans that almost pitched a no-hitter in that game against the Braves. He lost, but went 8 innings, just a couple of hits and 1 run. But to your point, being Sunday, and the fact that the deadline is the following day, Monday night at midnight or whatever, East Coast, West Coast time, could be 9 o'clock West Coast. But bottom line, he's not going to clear waivers if he goes beyond the 31st, because there will be clubs that will block him being tried unless they have an agreement, which sometimes they do that. But bottom line, there's so many clubs want him that if, for example, if he were put on waivers after the 31st, which he would have to clear or get to the team that wants him, there would be teams that block him. The A's would be forced to probably take him off because they don't want to give him away. And that's the dilemma that teams have. But on the other hand, the A's don't have to trade him. They've got him under control this year, next 2 years, before he's even a free agent.
2-2 is tapped. Sonny has it. He throws, and he throws it into center field. Smoke's going to keep running, and he's going to go to third. So Sonny tried to make the great play, and he should have just taken the easy play at first base, but he threw across his body and sailed it into center field. So that's a costly mistake.
You know, we've said it before. He's sometimes too good of an athlete, because nobody else probably would have attempted to throw to second base, but he got to the ball, could have run over to first, instead tries to go back and get Smoke, makes the bad throw, and it's first and third where it should have been a runner at second, 1 out. He did the same thing in St. Petersburg back on June the 10th. And remember when Smith, the center fielder, had to chop the ball down the first base line. He grabbed it, threw over the first baseman, ended up giving up 5 but only 2 earned runs. But sometimes it's better to get the sure out instead of opening up a big inning like he is right now.
And here's Tulowitzki. So it's a fielder's choice E1 to put runners at first and third. So he's really cat quick out there on the mound. That was just a decision that was the incorrect one.
You know, he would have been better suited to stop and throw instead of throwing off balance. He had enough time with his arm strength to be able to catch the ball, stop, and throw. Instead, he caught it and tried to throw on the move, and probably thinking about a double play because Kendrys Morales does not run fast. I think a lot of pitchers would love to have the athletic ability that Sonny Gray has in covering his position. And I think of some of the greats of the past, in Greg Maddux, 16, maybe more than 16 Gold Gloves, great pitcher, defender. Same with Jim Cott, who did win 16. Might be seeing a lot of Gold Gloves.
Swing and a miss by Tulowitzki. Ezekiel Carrera is the on deck hitter. Tulowitzki was 0 for 3 last night with a walk. Not much speed on the bases for the Blue Jays. These are the areas where the Blue Jays have really struggled. Runners in scoring position, they have a .219 batting average, which is the worst in all of baseball. And last night they were 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Some good hitters on this team, but underperforming. So the count is full. So 219. Like these are two bottom teams in that category. The A's as a team 230 with runners in scoring position. Three-two pitch, chopped slowly. Chapman charges. He's got it. He'll go to first to get the out there. Smoke comes in to score, and the Blue Jays take a 1-0 lead.
Top, no chance for a double play, and coming on contact was Smoke, scoring easily. Matt Chapman had only one play, and that was to first base. So if you want to think about this, it should be Smoke at third and 2 outs. I mean, that's how the inning could have developed. Instead, it's a run in, runner at second, and only 1 out. But the little things that I learned many years ago, trying to make a play in a second inning of a game in Detroit, and made a bad throw, and I was told and always remembered, never do something at the beginning of the game to open up a possible big inning. You can do it later when it really means something that maybe can help you win a game, but you don't want to costly.
Simeon, his throw, and it's a bit high, and Carrera beats it out.
I think he's going to beat it anyway. Surprised it was as close as it was, but once Simeon went to the slide, the dive to his left, and got up quickly, saved a run there, and then the quick throw. It looked like Carrera was already through the bag by the time Alonso jumped and caught him. I mean, it was going to be tough because Carrera hits from the left side, but he can run. And thought he had to hit up the middle, but then had to turn it on a little bit more once Simeon made the diving catch. And that's what you do as an infielder. You get down, at least keep the ball from going into the outfield, save a run. Maybe the A's can turn 2.
Pilar is the hitter. Outside corner strike to Kevin Pilar, 248. 11 home runs, 23 RBIs. He was hitless last night, 0 for 4.
The safety squeeze he attempted, he thought it was a squeeze. He did a great job, but unfortunately Pierce at third didn't see the same sign, which was not the squeeze.
That one rolled foul. Fly ball is going to have to be maybe a little deeper than normal because Morales, the runner at third, is very slow. Oh, 2. Fastball, foul back. Pilar protecting a little bit on a pitch that may not have been a strike.
A lot of pitches, good ratio, but really too many pitches.
Maxwell has it bounce out in front of him, and Carrera got a good read, and he takes off for second base. The ball did not bounce very far away from Maxwell. He did not He could not find it initially.
You know, it's a backhand, and really, you want to block a ball, especially with a run at third. He caught a break when the ball hit his catcher's mitt, but you try to backhand and then not know where the ball is. If you actually get down and block it, you have an idea that the ball is in front of you. Now the infield has to come in. Now it's really trying hard to get a strikeout.
1-2 pitch. Pilar just got a piece of it, rolls it toward the on deck circle. Sonny had a nice first inning, 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts, but his own error has turned the second inning into a very long inning for him, and there's still only 1 out. Ryan Goins is in the on deck circle. And Pilar went around. He chased a pitch that was badly down and away, and Sonny Gray gets a huge strikeout.
Well, the same thing happened to Bautista to start the game, and Pilar, as he did last night, he had opportunities galore. Bases loaded, 1 out. Also had a runner at third and 1 out. Both times he made out. Actually, 1 at the plate on a safety squeeze that didn't really result in a run, and a huge out tonight that Sonny Gray gets with a couple of runners on.
So Goins steps up. Infield goes back to its normal spot. In the dirt.
And one thing about Maxwell, he back in another ball. Sometimes Sonny Gray's pitches move so much that you think it's going to be able to be handled without the dirt. All of a sudden it's there, and you kind of jab at it a little bit. And it's said often how catchers will talk about how Sonny Gray, every time he throws a pitch, it moves sometimes where you're not expecting it to move.
That one runs off the plate, so it's 2-0. Second and third, 2 outs, and a run in here in the second inning. Missed again. Bautista will be next.
I don't think he's pitching around going to get to Bautista. I don't think that would be a smart thing to do, but Bautista did strike out. Goins is the type of hitter. He just tries to slap the ball, as we saw last night.
That one in there for a strike, 93 miles an hour. So 3-1 the count, 24 pitches this inning for Sonny Gray. Pitch right there for a strike. Sonny took a little bit off, got a little more movement on that one, and now it's a full count.
Might have been the changeup at 90. Stayed up a little bit, but had pretty good movement, great movement right in the heart of the plate, fooling Goins.
Probably not a good idea to stand in there and try to hit if you got something in your eye.
No.
Line drive fair down the third baseline. It's going to score 2. So a huge hit for Ryan Goins early in this game. 3-0 Blue Jays.
It's a case of falling behind 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, and went back to the same fastball. at 92 through the 90-mile-an-hour changeup, and this one though a little bit of a late swing, and maybe going just protecting with a couple of strikes, and he protected very nicely. And that quickly the A's down 3-0 in an inning that probably should not have been.
Goins gets his 34th and 35th RBI. And here's Bautista. And a big inning has been an issue for Sonny Gray this year. It's really something that a couple years ago he just did not allow that to happen. But this inning, 3 hits now, and of course the very costly error. One 1-0 to Bautista, who struck out in the first inning. This one down the right field line could be trouble. Joyce into the corner, he can't get it. It bounces up over the wall. It's going to be an RBI double. 4-0 Blue Jays.
Nice problem with the power of Bautista, all fields from line to line, and a pitch that was left up, and as a result opposite field hitting by Bautista, and because Goins hit the double, he was able to score on the ground rule double. But there's a 91 in the heart of the plate, and there's your location, Kipe. The problem, you get the ball up like that, it becomes very hittable, and hit the turf, bounced in, nice one-handed grab by a fan, but a ground rule double nonetheless, and 2-out hitting. That's a good catch.
So here's Martin, who swings and misses. So 4 runs and 4 hits in this inning. This one hit high and foul down the right field line.
Well, one thing Sonny has done in this game early and is keep the ball down low. A couple of pitches that had to be blocked by Maxwell, but that's the importance of Sonny, to pitch well, to get the ball down, a sharp breaking, biting curveball, slider, and depend on the catcher to block the ball. And I think that's something that, if he starts to elevate, that's when it gets in trouble, and that's what's happened in the last couple of hitters.
And that one was up. And you see Martin had a pretty good swing at it.
A 3-2 pitch from Chris Smith last night got the Jays on the board early, and Chris knew it. So did everybody else. That's a ball that had a no-doubter on it. A few other balls were hit, but found out that ball's been carried quite well this year, open and closed roof.
Oh, 2 pitch swing and a miss. He struck him out. Blue Jays get 4 runs, 32 pitches in the inning for Sonny Gray. 3rd inning coming up, 4-0 Toronto.
in on the annual Battle of the Bay. It's presented by Gilead Sciences as the A's host the Giants July the 31st and August the 1st. 1 week. It's next Monday, next Tuesday. Bay Area supremacy is on the line as we rekindle memories of 1989. Plus exciting action before the game on Championship Plaza with the food trucks and DJs going head-to-head for Bay Area bragging rights. Be a part of history. Visit athletics.com/Bay. What a great day that's going to be.
There's some A's fans hanging in there, surrounded, and I mean surrounded by Blue Jays.
See that American flag on the gentleman's right chest area? It's a good-looking jersey. Good fans all the way to Toronto.
Big chopper foul by Matt Chapman. So 0-2 the count to the A's third baseman. 5 homers, 9 RBIs for Chapman. He's homered in 3 straight games.
If he wakes back, he may be able to do this tonight also. Matt Chapman last night, fastball from Larry out on it. Left in a hurry. Straightaway center up near the bunting. What used to be a restaurant.
Still is, isn't it?
All the way, yeah, as far as we're concerned. But there is a restaurant way up right below the scoreboard up there.
Yeah.
But the restaurant down below, just those people are standing while they're eating. Right? The 3 levels.
All right, so who are the rookies to homer in 4 straight games in Athletics history? Dan Johnson, 2005. We remember him. Manny Jimenez in 1962. George Alesic in 1962. You remember those guys?
No, they would have been in Kansas City.
Inside, he walked in.
A's came to Oakland in '68. So 62, they were in Kansas City. Yeah, there it is. Last A's rookie to homer in 3 straight. Josh Donaldson. And he doesn't know John Donaldson, who used to play for the A's.
He was just a rookie in 2012, Josh Donaldson.
What a great year to be a rookie, huh? 2012, winning on the last day of the season.
First pitch to Maxwell is outside.
You know, there are times you're facing a pitcher, you get down 4-0, you say, man, it's going to be hard to come back. It's not the case tonight. If they're patient with Valdez, they can get to him before maybe getting to the bullpen, which was lights out last night. They have a chance to come back and win this game.
Maxwell hits one high and foul the other way.
Flank.
Maxwell at 256 with a homer and 8 RBIs. Maxwell pinch hit last night in the 8th inning and grounded out. Then he stayed in the game. Toward Goins. Goins fires to Tulowitzki. Double play.
Well, if we get a chance to look at this is an example of what you should not do against a soft tosser. And outside, he rolls over. He actually goes out to the outside part of the plate and rolls over. The previous pitch, he went the opposite field foul. But when you roll over on a pitch outside, that's exactly what Valdez is hoping you would do instead of going. See, watch this. Reaches out. And really, that's a tailor-made double play. 4-6-3. And a pitch, you just try to stay back because he's not throwing hard. And you stay back, you might be able to take the same pitch to the opposite field instead of rolling over.
Check this out. The changeup is thrown 53% of the time.
Yep.
League's hitting 167 against the changeup. So why not keep throwing? And he will.
He just did.
He just did.
Drop down, sidearm changeup. But I always thought and still believe that these types of pitchers can frustrate hitters more than anybody.
Rajai Davis was the leadoff man for the A's last night.
Late scratch by Brugman, who woke up with a stiff neck.
Yeah, he may be available tonight to pinch hit.
Well, he was going out to run, and he said it just was bothering him turning side. See how he's looking to Blackburn. He actually turned to the side.
So Rajai Davis strikes out, and another double play for the Blue Jays. Bottom of the third coming up.
Your #1 mobile app for live A's baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get A's home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. They're doing it right now. Hey, it is Doug Flutie.
It's Doug Flutie.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yes, he is.
Canadian Football Hall of Fame.
Hail Mary? What did he do? But did he do that through a big old...
Yeah,
that's right.
When he was in college.
Yeah.
Kind of a star up here.
That's
was
right.
with the Toronto Argonauts. The Argos is what they call them up here.
They won last night, huh?
I think it was a little exhibition football last night.
Hey, it's still football.
Do you know that Doug Flutie was it really?
Yeah, it was real. Yeah, that's it. Doug Flutie, what?
He won 6 MVP awards in the Canadian football.
Wow.
No wonder he's a celebrity up here.
Yes, so.
Oh, 0-1 to Donaldson. He went 0-2. Smoke to follow, and then Morales, bottom of the third, 4-0 Blue Jays.
Well, supposedly, from what we've heard, the Argonauts wanted real grass and they wanted a smaller stadium. So they got what they wanted. Near the exhibition stadium? Is that correct? Yeah.
Well, the first ballpark of the Blue Jays was a football stadium. So I guess it's come full circle,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Old exhibition stadium.
Yeah, but they tried to play baseball and football. It didn't work. That was turf, though. They wanted real grass. They could have stayed here for the turf, the artificial. They would put their own turf down, from what I understood. But they have their own stadium. And the Blue Jays are here. A place normally called originally Sky Dome.
Exhibition Stadium was the home of Blue Jays for what, 12 years?
Yeah, too long. Because it was outdoor. This is the greatest thing when they moved in here. JD Josh Donaldson was swinging wildly at the curveball earlier, looking maybe for fastballs, and got the curveball, but then became very patient, as he usually does. And now the count 3-2, back towards his favor. Just a matter of the type of pitch that Sonny will throw him. Doesn't have that many pitches.
Not that we know of.
No.
3-2 pitches fouled back. You know, I watched you play at Exhibition Stadium in 1977.
Yeah, thank you, Cap. When you were what, about 10?
I was 14.
Thank you
but
very much.
I watched you play.
Yeah, you were there to watch your brother, and I happened to be there.
I remember thinking that, wow, this stadium's pretty cool.
It was cold, all right.
Cool as in neat.
Yeah.
I was sitting there eating a hot dog watching Ray Fosse play.
Yeah, right. You were watching number 18 and second by the name of Dwayne Kuiper. That's who you were watching. I just happened to be there.
There's a walk. So Donaldson wins the battle. Sonny a little frustrated. Leadoff man aboard.
I think we go drive by Exhibition Stadium on the way to the airport off the freeway. It's no longer there. Really, it's gone. Really?
Huh.
What are they doing? Wow, the soccer stadium is right there. Wow. Thank you for that great info. Oh.
Well, that's disappointing.
It is disappointing.
Swing and a miss by Smoke.
Well, we'll drive by it anyway, but it's just
That's
not
right.
there.
And you know what? I want you to point out to me where it was.
It is.
But it was a football stadium.
Yes, it was. Matter of fact, the seats were set up for the football field.
Yeah.
They tried, people would sit in the seats for baseball, and they have to look to center field. It really wasn't that enjoyable for those. And they went to postseason back in that time. They were playing Kansas City Royals in the league championship, but then moved into this place. And man, at one time they were drawing over 4 million people here at Sky Dome.
Smoke had a base hit and he scored a run. He hits this one to second. See if the A's can turn the double play.
Whoa.
And it's Chapman who's taking the feed at second, and he spun around and threw to first. So
wow.
Chapman, who looked like he's played there his whole career.
Well, the spin is unbelievable because here's the feed and then the 360 and maybe he wanted to get a little bit behind the throw. And Jed Lowry gave him a nice feed to second, the spin, and then poof. Man, he could unload.
Well, still the first base coach.
Yeah, they're looking at something. What?
Tim Leeper, and he pointed immediately like maybe Chapman's foot wasn't on the bag, and they're going to take a look at it. Leeper, you could see him pointing immediately.
Well, let's see as he comes. He was off the bag. Yep. He didn't stay on long enough. And that's what Leeper, you're right. He looked there and watching that play while he hit the bag, maybe he came off. And there's no neighborhood anymore, unfortunately.
Well, they're showing it up on the big board, and you know what? It does look like he was probably off.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but just.
And with his strong arm, he could have almost taken the throw on the bag and then thrown, but there it is with the third baseman taking the throw at second. Yeah, he was off. He made a strong throw, but it looked like when Leeper, the first base coach, immediately pointing to second base. And was it close enough that he kept his foot on? Because once he cleared himself, he was definitely off the bag, but it's a question, did they see enough of him being on the bag before he made the turn?
I mean, it's still very close.
Yeah, and maybe enough that they won't overturn it.
Watch this. There, I mean, it looks like he's off there. But again,
see Leeper's hand? Yeah.
It was an out call, so it has to be pretty clear for them to change it.
Well, the A's won their challenge early. Now this is the third inning. The Blue Jays hopeful of doing the same, and if they do, they continue their challenge. Take a long time, and Bob Melvin said, "Let's hurry up. You know, you're taking too long." And that's what he's got to be saying.
Well, I agree. I mean, what about this 2 minutes thing?
That's right.
I thought there was a 2-minute limit.
It's supposed to be. Although they do say that in New York they have as much time as they want. If they need extra time, they can take it.
Well, then don't even say there's a 2-minute warning.
I agree. And don't say there's a 30-second time frame here either.
As we expected.
Yeah, so that it goes a 4-5-3 put out. But Donaldson safe at second. But, you know, while it looked great, in reality, you're looking at a third baseman trying to turn the double play. And, you know, that's the shift. That's because of the shift. He had to take the throw because Semien was on the right side of the infield.
So runner at second, one out for Morales. Morales takes a pitch for a strike. Morales hit that ball that Sonny Gray threw away at second base. That was a huge play in this game.
It resulted in 4 unearned runs.
Morales in his career against Sonny Gray 2 for 16 with 5 strikeouts. And that includes him reaching on the air in the second inning. So 0-2 to Kendrys Morales. Tulowitzki to follow. Morales just barely got a piece of it. Well, that play that got overturned, it's not an error, but it's a defensive mistake.
Sure. Yeah, it'd be just basically a put out 4-5-3. Long way to get the out, but could have had, should have had 2 outs.
That one lofted foul left side.
Well, here you are, Cap. Were you at this game? This is the first game ever at Exhibition Stadium.
No, watched it on TV though.
There's your snow. There's the snow.
See, look, there was no second deck. It was just a one level stadium. And the left field bleachers were the football seats.
The first pitch.
See who that is? Ralph Gott.
That's right. I like the
Ralph Gott.
Chicago White Sox player, the snowshoes.
Hey, if you think about it, it's your franchise's first ever game. They were going to play that game no matter what the weather was, unless it was absolutely impossible. And it almost was impossible.
It probably was.
Look at that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not snowshoes, catchers.
Man. And you know what? The Blue Jays won that game. 1977. Came in with the Mariners.
Yeah. Blue Jays have won twice, 92-93. The Mariners never won a World Series. I think the Mariners never played in the World Series.
Nope.
Have they? Yeah. And you know, with the strike, unfortunately, of '94, when the World Series was canceled, the Blue Jays actually had a chance to get 3 in a row, but did not win in '95.
1-2 pitch to Morales, down and in.
See, that's a pitch that really, that's where Sonny Gray needs to continue to throw. And, you know, Bruce Maxwell's going to get a workout. You know, he's going to have to try to keep balls from going past him. This is with 2 strikes with Morales now. It's a situation where if he elevates, which he does sometimes, to avoid maybe spiking a ball, but you have to just rely on your catcher to block them. And Bruce Maxwell and Fegley, Vogt when he was here, all doing a good job. That's
that one is spiked hard into the dirt, well out in front of home plate. And not a whole lot you can do with that one if you're the catcher.
No, that's, I mean, that far out in front, you got a glove on it, but you can see the umpire getting out of Tim Timmons and I'm out of here. I'm gone. I don't want to be a part of this one. But look how far out in front that was. And you know, you throw the glove up, throw your body up, and hope to block it. And unfortunately, it didn't happen.
So that's a couple of wild pitches for Sonny tonight. Now the infield comes in for the A's. The count is 3-2 to Morales. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
And you know how great that strikeout was. If you're a hitter and the guy just spiked the ball, you go 3-2. There's no way you're going to see another curveball. But look at the location. Fastball, good sinker, and got him at 92 down and heading out of the strike zone. Morales trying to pull the pitch outside, and a big strikeout for Sonny Gray.
So here's Tulowitzki. He had an RBI ground out in the second inning, picking up his 26th RBI. Big swing by Tulo.
See, there's the result right there. A hanging curveball. Result of a couple of pitches spiked into the dirt, and you get a runner at third. Sometimes a little reluctant to throw the same pitch.
12 in the first, 32 in the second, 20 pitches here in the third for Sonny Gray. One the count. So correct me if I'm wrong, Ray. All 4 of the runs scored in the second inning unearned runs. Is that right?
That's right. Because it was a single, and the fielder's choice, that was an error. Morales, that's 1 out. The next out, Tulowitzki, 2 outs. The base hit and the strikeout. So the Goins double, the Bautista double. All came when they should have been back in the dugout.
So even though the error is on the pitcher, that does not come into play when it has to do with. And you know, even though it's a pitcher's error, sure, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, and remember in Tampa, he had 5 with 2 earned runs. That's 3. So you're looking at 7 unearned runs that go in that category of unearned runs. And really, people forget that basically those 2 were a result of the pitcher's errors. But no, they never show up that way except as errors and unearned runs.
Simeon throws out to Tulowitzki. So Sonny has to work hard in that inning, but he keeps the Blue Jays off the board. Top of the 4th coming up. Blue Jays 4, A's nothing. On the go with NBCSportsCalifornia.com and the NBC Sports app, presented by your Northern California Honda dealers. Ooh, come on.
Tommy, you're the best.
That's
man.
above the CN Tower.
Tommy Yazzie, you all the way up there, man, taking that photo? Wow. That's a great shot.
We're in there somewhere.
That's a great shot.
Ray, stand up.
I'm waving. You see us?
Oh, man.
Meanwhile, Cesar Valdez just keeps flipping them up there.
But did you hear this? Did you hear the story that the bus driver told coming over here about the Red Sox players? So around this ballpark, right, it's busy after
Sure,
the game, and on the weekends it's just, I mean, it's super crowded because of the big crowd, and it's just a busy area right here, traffic-wise. You can sit at a stoplight for 15 minutes and not move. So the Red Sox sitting on the bus, and it was not moving. And the players are like, let's go. It's Saturday at 5:30. Yeah. So some of them got out and got on the city bikes that you can buy back to the hotel, and they beat the bus by 20 minutes.
That's funny. And build the Red Sox for the bikes.
Hey, the city bikes now, where you can drop them off in a different spot. It's really a pretty good idea. Yeah,
they just go in and put a credit card or coins or something, and get on the bike and take off.
Drop it off in a different part of the city. But it is super congested right around this park, especially on weekend.
That's a great idea, though.
And it's not that, I mean, our hotel to here is what, maybe 3 miles?
Yeah, it's not that far.
It's really not very far.
But it could take forever.
That one is hooked down the right field line, and it's fair. Rolls into the corner, and Matt Joyce is going to have a leadoff double. So a good start for the A's. See if they can climb back into this game.
Well, Matt Joyce is single to left field and a double to right field, but everybody in between not doing as well as Matt Joyce. Off-speed pitch. He elevated a little bit more this time instead of trying to get him to chase, which Matt was a little bit more patient. And maybe the second time through the order, the A's hitters will be patient, not swing at some of the bad pitches, off-speed pitches, and do what Joyce did and get on base for the leadoff double.
And here's Simeon, pitches down and away. So second time through the lineup against Cesar Valdez. The A's have to make some adjustments.
I saw those bikes outside of Rogers Center here. They have fenders on them, so you didn't get.
That's probably the bikes the players grabbed.
They probably grabbed them right outside, put the credit card in or something, and start pedaling.
Gone.
And if it's wet, you don't get all the water coming up on the tires.
Probably why.
The fenders, so they can stay dry. Plus, they probably had dinner reservations. They said, we can't stay in this traffic the whole night.
Telling you. It's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
3-0 to Marcus Simeon with Alonso in the on-deck circle. This is one of those starts. If you're John Gibbons, the manager of the Blue Jays, you're thinking, Cesar Valdez, can you give me 5?
That's right. Well, Liriano gave him 5 last night. The bullpen didn't allow anything.
Simeon hit into a fielder's choice in the first inning. The A's have hit into a couple of double plays.
This is the critical pitch because he just threw a 4-seam fastball to about 89, 90 straight. But will he do it 3-1?
And it's at the knees on the outside corner. Perfectly placed pitch by Cesar Valdez. So 3-2. Joyce not really being held on at second base. Simeon rolls at foul, had to reach for it.
But that's 5 pitches that were close, straight, and then he goes 3-2 and turns it over. You know what Valdez reminds me of, Cap? It's like a position player when it's a blowout, and you're saying, I got to hit this guy. I got to get a hit off this guy. And all of a sudden, you're swinging to pitches that aren't strikes.
And that one knocked down by Valdez. He throws to first. He immediately looks at his left arm. And the training staff will come out quickly.
Wow. Took away a base hit. Good effort by Simeon trying to go up the middle, and it found Valdez, popped right up to him and flipped it to first base. It's his non-throwing arm. Got him in the left forearm, but you know, if he had caught the ball in the air, it's an out by itself, but it did bounced up to him. Hit hard. Hope he's all right, but he was able to find it, flip it to first. Yeah, but not only John Gibbons, but Valdez wants to go 5-2. He's got a lead.
That's true.
Yeah, Marcus Simeon stayed back and thinking up the middle opposite field. Matt Joyce was frozen. He couldn't do anything.
So here's Alonso. He'll try to get Joyce home. Alonso hit into that 3-6 double play in the first inning. Nice backhanded play by Russell Martin. It's been a little bit of a struggle for Yonder Alonso. He's 0 for his last 11. Average coming into tonight at 264. Swing and a miss.
I see that's a pitch to go to the left side because everybody's on the right side. Expect him to try to pull the outside pitch. Ball was running away. Look how far this ball runs away. Watch him open up. See, here's your belt buckle. Okay, pitches away, and that's a rollover waiting to happen, just like Maxwell. Valdez is not going to give you many pitches to pull. That's good effort. I think last night, Cap, that's why one time Alonso was squaring around the bunt because he had been struggling and the infield playing him to the right side. Squared around, didn't get a pitch that he could put down for a bunt.
Even with the struggles recently, Alonso still 9th in the league in home runs, 10th in the league in slugging percentage, 8th in OPS. Again, slices one foul, same spot down the left field line.
It's almost like a Goins or Correa hit last night where he just stayed back, trying to flip it the opposite field.
Just a little bit high. 2-2 the count, 88 miles an hour. Shift is on for Yonder Alonso. Let me reach for that one a little bit. Tulowitzki playing just to the right of second base. Goins out in shallow right field. So another 2-2 pitch coming up to Yonder Alonso. Here it is. He lays off down and in. Chris Davis will follow.
Third consecutive 3-2 count this inning. Joyce with a double, Semien with a line drive off Valdez, and now once again good at bat by Alonso.
Taps that one foul. Well, the A's are making Valdez work much harder the last couple innings than they did. Especially the first inning. He threw just 4 pitches in that first inning. So
4-11-14. Yeah, that's it.
Carrera comes in. He's got it.
Good idea by Alonso. It just didn't work out for him. But leadoff double. Joyce still standing at second base.
See Yonder Alonso shaking his head a little bit. There's going to be a lot of that unless the A's break through against this guy.
Well, and what's going to happen, Alonso, maybe because of this and the way they're pitching him, that he will realize, and I'm sure he already has at this at bat, he realizes that got to go to the opposite field and maybe not elevate it so much. Try to hit it on the line or even on the ground. But hitters can be frustrated, get frustrated so quickly. The pitchers like Valdez just look for too much and you'd never get it.
There's a line drive left field base hit. This should get the A's on the board as Matt Joyce hustles around to score. Chris Davis headed for second base, safe with a double.
He had to bust it to get there, but Valdez left the pitch up. KD took advantage of it. Look at the location this pitch has stayed up, and Chris Davis hammered it down the left field line, but Correa played it perfectly, and if Chris Davis not running hard, he would never have made it. The ball came back, strong throw by Correa right on the bag, and that's how close it was. So Chris Davis right there is when he turned it on and able to get in safely.
So RBI number 69 for Chris Davis. And here's Lowry.
That's also where the first base coach can really help, because he can be your eyes and really pumping and telling you to hurry and run hard. And Mike Aldrete, very good at that, is the A's first base coach.
Lowry grounded out to second in the second.
Well, he's got to go because he knows it's in the corner. He's thinking 2 all the way and turn the bag nicely. Just head down and head first line in the second.
Swing and a miss. Lowry had a big cut. So a couple of doubles for the A's here in the 4th inning. He's produced their first run. Just missed. Blue Jays thought it was a strike.
Just off the plate. Good take by Jed Lowry. It started there and then just kept running to the point that Tim Timmons said too far outside, and that was a good call. And though Martin brought it back to the outside corner.
That one hit hard. Scooped up by Goins. Nice range by the Blue Jays second baseman. Lowry's retired. A's get a run on 2 hits. Bottom of the 4th coming up. Blue Jays 4, A's 1.
Opportunity to learn about science through baseball with the Science of the Game program. Students in 1st through 8th grades who complete the Science of the Game workbooks can earn 2 free tickets to a regular season A's game. Visit athletics.com/science to get your workbooks today. Man, I wish I was 1st through 8th. I could be thinking about signing for baseball and get a workbook and get a couple free tickets. What a dream. So George saying somebody got an error? Right?
Yeah, our stat man George said that Chapman was given an error on that play that was reviewed when his foot came off the bag. So the A's now with a couple of errors in the game.
That was the challenge at second base that they decided to look at.
Carrera, Pilar, Goins here in the bottom of the fourth for the Blue Jays. Toronto leading 4-1. Carrera singled and scored in the second. Carrera last night was 2 for 3 with 2 singles and a walk. So knocked in a run. So he's had a good series so far. Sonny with a lot of pitches, 71 pitches here so far into this ball game, and it's the 4th inning. And Carrera swings weakly at a fastball that was on the inside part of the plate. So 6 strikeouts for Sonny Gray.
Well, this is a swing that you do not want to try to copy. That was one that might have even been ball 3, but saw it and tried to slap at it. That was 0 effort.
That was not a good swing. There's Kevin Pilar. Pilar struck out in the second inning.
Well, the 2 games last night and tonight so far, Pilar has not really been anything to write home about offensively, but he may be the type of player that saves runs in center field. Great center fielder, great range. And may keep his job, stay in the lineup because of that. Be helpful to know the signs. Signs are not hard at all given by the third base coach.
Chapman to his left has it. So 2 away here in the bottom of the 4th. And that'll bring up going.
Sonny Gray in his last 2 starts, 100 and 104 against Cleveland, Tampa Bay. Previously 98, 98, 108 the most he's thrown. So based on the way this game is going, 6 innings might be tops for him, assuming he has a very good 4th, 5th inning and 6th inning, and got 2 outs in the 4th. 74 pitches already, and you're approaching 100. That's kind of when they start looking at bullpen help, and not something that Skipper wants.
Fastball a little bit low at 94 miles an hour. Goins had a big hit. He slapped a double down the left field line with 2 outs in the second inning, and it brought home a pair. Gray was trying to get out of the inning with just 1 run allowed, and he could not get Goins. On the ground, right to Lowry, who has it. And that's a good inning for Sonny Gray. 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout. 5th inning coming up. Healy to lead it off. 4-1 Jays. customers say, "Show me the Oakland A's" into your X1 voice remote and get live stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1.
Hey, a snack vendor. Big concourse here at Rogers Center.
Yes, it is.
I think they made it bigger. One time it was smaller, but they took some seats out to make it bigger.
Ryan Healy to lead it off. Chapman to follow, and then Maxwell. Healy grounded to short in the second inning. He's 1 for 5 in the series. .59 pitches for Cesar Valdez. He's allowed 3 hits. He's walked 1 and struck out 2. Swing and a miss. Valdez dropped down a little bit, a little different angle.
Healy's doing a couple times. Did it last night, and after this swing and miss, looked back to the pitcher and maybe kind of indicated, what are you throwing? Well, he's throwing enough that he's swinging and missing. Did last night on a similar pitch.
This one's hit well to right center field, but Batista is over there. He's gone. So 1 away here in the 5th. Well, this week on A's pre and post game live, it's a 3-part series reliving the great Bill King. He is set to be honored in Cooperstown this coming Saturday. We hear from Ken Korach, Greg Papa, and John Miller. Find out why this legend belongs in the Hall of Fame. So Saturday, a big day for the family Bill King and for the A's organization.
Yeah, 2 of the great ones, Lon Simmons and now Bill King, both inducted into the Ford C. Frick wing of the Hall of Fame. Very deserving. John Miller also there.
Oh, 1-2 to Matt Chapman. Chapman walked in the 3rd inning. He was erased on a double play. Got him swinging. So 3 pitches. Matt Chapman is gone.
Hey, this is a great Bill King call.
All around on this sellout night, over 44,000 paid. Here's Phelps, and here's the pitch. Swung on, long drive, right field, way back, home run, holy Toledo.
Brian
So
Holman,
2 outs, right?
1
In the
out
9th
from
inning?
a perfect game. Brian Holman and Ken Phelps hit a solo home run, similar to what Matt Olson did against Folkenevich at the Coliseum of the Braves when he had a no-hitter going, not the perfect.
Cesar Valdez has a very quick inning in the 5th. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Blue Jays 4, A's 1.
what we're talking about the CN Tower. This Friday, July the 28th, G-Eazy's not going to be doing that. It's against the Twins. 15,000 fans will receive a G-Eazy bobblehead that plays an audio message from the man himself. It's all presented by Majestic. That's high, man. This bobblehead features Oakland's own G-Eazy, the world-famous rapper and lifelong A's fan. Plus, he'll be at the game to throw out the ceremonial first pitch that night. For tickets, visit athletics.com/promotions. And if you really want to do something, you can go up on top of the CN Tower and do what those people are doing. They actually pay to do that. They pay to do that.
That is not happening.
No, not for me.
Look at that.
Yeah, look how tall and high that is. And those people are out depending on that little bungee to hold them in place. Sorry.
Nope.
Pat Tabler and Buck Martinez did it for charity. Whatever money they raised, I think I'd write a check.
That's right. I'll do a lot of things for charity. I really will. That's not one of them.
That's not one of them, man.
Top of the order for the Blue Jays.
Oh.
Batista, Martin, and Donaldson. Sonny Gray had an easy fourth inning. He's retired 6 in a row. On the 1-1 the count. Batista had a RBI double in the second. He struck out in the first. He is 1 for 6 in the series.
A lot
Inside corner strike.
As always, every time Sonny pitches, there's a number of scouts from various teams who are interested in maybe acquiring him before the trading deadline. And they're watching several things. Number one is health, if he's able to stay healthy. Number two, the velocity of his pitches as he approaches the magical 100 pitch mark. How well the curveball is breaking. If he gets it down. And really, he may be interested. Do they have a catcher who can catch his hard curveball?
Sure.
One that's going to be important for him to keep down low.
7 strikeouts for Sonny Gray.
This pitch running up and in to Bautista as he pulled the hands in. Perhaps a pitch off the plate, but good velocity at 91. And for Sonny Gray, he's got the change up, the turbo change, good sinker down. Curveball, it has to be thrown hard.
That one cued right back to Sonny Gray. Underhands to first. And that's the second out. So Russell Martin is 0 for 3. And that'll bring up Donaldson. So 7 ground outs, 7 strikeouts, 0 fly ball outs for Sonny Gray. As he faces Donaldson. Donaldson's name is thrown out there a little bit, Ray, in these possible trade scenarios. Donaldson will be a free agent after next year. So if you were to get him, you'd have him this year and then next year.
He's making good money, though. What, close to 20? I'm at 38.
Yeah, let's see. What's he making? He's making $17 million this year. He's got 1 more year left of arbitration. That number's not going to go down.
Cap, I think he signed for 2 years. I think he signed a 2-year at 38, something like that. So I think he signed through next year. The qualifying offer's at 18.
Yeah.
It's going to be, but for some reason.
Well, he'll be 32 years old in December. Of course, 2015, sensational, won the MVP. Very good last year.
Well, last year he scored from second, the game-winning run in the division series against the Rangers on a ground ball that's thrown to first. Something the Rangers did a lot of when Ron Washington managed there. And Gary Pettis, the third base coach, runner at second, just keep running on the throw from the left side to first base.
So 2-1 the count. 3-1. So I guess what we're saying is whatever happens with Donaldson, whether he gets traded or not, he's going to get 1 more contract, and it's going to be a pretty good one. It's not going to be an 8 or 9 year deal, but it's going to be maybe a little bit shorter because of his age, but it'll be worth plenty of money because he's still a very fine player. Banged up this year. And the 3-1 pitch is a ball. Donaldson walks for the second time. Those are the only 2 walks by Sonny Gray. And that stops a stretch of 8 consecutive hitters retired by Gray.
Just looking at Donaldson and the media guys, his contract status signed through 17, so maybe he signed a 2-year deal 16, 17.
You know what? I think that's what it was, Ray. I, for whatever reason, I think the 2-year deal was last year and this year, and he still has 1 more year of arbitration.
Exactly.
You see guys do occasionally.
Yeah, exactly. That's you're correct in that. But it just I knew he'd signed a 2-year deal, but it was after his MVP season, and they probably did that to just take the qualifying offer next year, JD.
Yeah, that's true.
But if he's going for 1 more contract, then that's when that they can offer. Figured it's going to be declined, and the qualified offer being $18 million. But if you're looking for a multi-year deal, 1 year, and then you turn 33, it's a little bit more difficult than maybe a player 28, 29.
One and one the count to Justin Smoke. Speaking of contracts, remember last year, in fact, I want to say we may have been here. And Blue Jays signed Justin Smoke to a 2-year extension for a total of $8.5 million.
That's right.
Total of $8.5 million.
And he took it.
And he did take it, yeah.
In a hurry.
And we didn't think much of it because Smoke, we've seen a lot of him with the Mariners, and he's a decent player, but never really blossomed into a middle of the order hitter. So, I mean, okay numbers, not great, but so he took the deal. 2 years, $8.5 million with a club option for 2019. So this is the first year of that 2-year deal, and he's having an unbelievable year.
Yes, he is.
If his team was in a better spot in the standings, he may be an MVP candidate. That time, Sonny Gray wins the battle, though. So 2 more strikeouts for Sonny. He's got 8 Ks through the first 5 innings. Top of the 6th inning, Blue Jays 4, A's 1. What is going on there?
What is that?
It's magic.
How'd they do that? They're still going to foam at the top. Huh? You ever seen that?
You know what? I have not. But
wow.
So you fill up the beer from the bottom. Rajai Davis hits a line drive right at Kevin Pillar.
Can we see that again? You see how they do that?
It's the little things that impress us, right?
Yeah. I mean, do they put a hole in the bottom of the cup?
Secret.
They must have.
Can't tell you. Check this out. Watch.
It's unbelievable.
Okay, so that is awesome.
So the bottom pops up, they fill it, and they drop the bottom back down.
There you go.
And they have what, glue on it to
Bottoms
make sure
up.
it doesn't bottoms up. They put glue on the bottom of the cap so when it adheres to the side.
I don't know.
What if the bottom starts floating? Man, you learn something every day, don't you? Wow.
I like that though. Usually you see the beer going the other way.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I wonder if they drink it from the bottom.
Yeah, that would be a different story. More action for Pilar, and he's got it. 2 away.
What a frustrating night for the A's. 2 hits last night for 9, and through now 5 2/3 innings, they have 3. 2 of them coming to the same inning, 2 doubles. Matt Joyce has 2 out of the 3. And Cesar Valdez, not Ishmael Valdez, is pitching like Cy Young. They do have activity. So, Cap, to your point, 5 innings, great. How about 6? And then maybe turn it over to the bullpen.
Well, he's retired 6 in a row since the Chris Davis RBI double. There's a line drive headed for the gap. Carrera is able to cut it off, and he gets it in quickly. That's a nice play by Carrera. He makes a perfect throw back into second base. Simeon with a single.
That's a good point. With 2 outs, you expect, or at least thinking about 2 as a hitter, if the ball in the gap, and ball in the middle of the plate. Pitch stayed up at 89 miles per hour, so still movement on it. But Marcus Simeon robbed in his previous at bat a line drive off of the pitcher. This time, though, with Carrera getting to it, holds him to a single, and that's a difference of 90 feet and maybe a base hit scoring him.
Here's Yonder Alonso. First pitch, a little bit outside.
Might as well look outside. It looks like that's where they're going to feature him and plan him to pull, thinking he's going to roll over on the pitch. And that's why 3 to the right side, only 1. Donaldson at shortstop position.
Alonso has hit into a double play and hit a fly ball to left field. He lines that one foul. It was a breaking ball that was a little up. So 1-1 the count. 74 pitches now for Cesar Valdez.
And this situation defensively for the Blue Jays is one that you really have to think about starting in spring training, because you have 3 to the right side. It looks like Donaldson might even be the one covering second base on attempted steal. He's talking to Tulowitzki, who is in the second base position. But you think about somebody at good speed could just hit second, not even slide, just keep running and go to third.
They call the ball.
Yeah, now he's already there. Doesn't have to worry about it. There it was. Oh, boy, that's deception. Got him, though. He said he called time, but he thought maybe Alonso had called time. Well, that's a big 90 feet now. If Alonso can get a base hit, cut the lead in half.
Let's see if the A's can take advantage.
But he did flinch, and when he flinched and did not continue his setup, it was called a ball. And he looked back thinking that Alonso had called time, but he had not.
Big swing by Alonso. Nothing to show for it. 1-2. Simeon the runner at second. And he got it. And that's going to be a frustrating at bat for Yonder Alonso. So big strikeout for Cesar Valdez. He's been good through 6 innings. Blue Jays lead 4-1.
On NBC Sports California is brought to you by Roaring Camp Railroads. Thomas has come all the way from the island of Sodor, and he's doing his best to be a useful little engine at Day Out with Thomas.
Blue Jays 4, A's 1. It's the bottom of the 6th inning. Sonny Gray back to work. Sonny with 8 strikeouts through 5 innings. He's allowed 4 hits and 4 unearned runs because of his own error.
Yeah. Well, looking at his numbers, he had against the Tigers in May 4 runs, 1 earned. At Tampa Bay 5 runs, 2 earned. And tonight, otherwise, every run's been earned that he's given up, except those 3 just mentioned.
At 93 pitches.
A's won the 1 game against the Tigers. No decision for him, and lost Tampa Bay unless they come back tonight. This will be a tough one. He's approaching 100 pitches, and you have to figure this might be his last inning.
(2-0) to Morales, who has reached on an error, struck out, scored a run. Chapman charges. Chapman on the run. Morales is retired. So 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Astros leading the Phillies 5-0. 6th inning in Philadelphia. Astros won last night 13-4. So everything going right for the Astros. How about Jose Altuve? Did you see what he's hitting in the month of July? Right? 507. 507 is his batting average in the month of July. That's comical.
Is he playing amateur baseball?
Like softball, right? So Jose Altuve is now leading the American League in hitting with a 365 batting average. The next closest is Gene Segura at 329.
Wow.
365. He's something, I tell you. Tulowitzki hits it hard into left field. So we had a trade today. The Milwaukee Brewers picked up relievers having a pretty good year. Anthony Swarzak pitching for the White Sox. We saw him a little bit.
Yep. Some with the Twins and with the White Sox. Yep.
So Swarzak, who, as we said, he's been around a while, but he's having his best year. So he will go to Milwaukee. And the Brewers with a half-game lead over the Chicago Cubs in the National League Central coming into today.
And we've talked about it before, but you look at teams that are in contention and are close, and those teams that make moves towards the trading deadline are really the players that are happiest, that have been there, and now they see some help coming in, and they're really pleased that the organization is making some moves.
See, the Cubs won earlier today, so right now the Cubs and the Brewers are tied, and don't forget about the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have been playing great. They're only 2.5 back.
Look at the Cardinals, just 4 out, they're 3 under. That's amazing division.
Well, the Brewers are winning right now 7-0 over the Nationals. Pirates playing later on in San Francisco, so that all of a sudden is a pretty good race. You just, I mean, it is. We always make, you think, you look at divisions in June, and there's like, wow, that one's probably over. And I make the mistake all the time. You just got to wait.
It seems like the All-Star break is kind of the key. You get 4 days off, and all of a sudden, teams just come back. It's almost like postseason. You play well in division, don't in the league or whatever. Remember Daniel Murphy a couple years ago, the division league was great. World Series, nothing for the Mets. But you're right. You get in that division, they have to rely on winning the division because, well, at least for one time, it looked like the wild cards are going to come out of the West.
Yeah, and I mean, Arizona and Colorado still have a fairly good lead for the 2 wild card spots in the National League. You just never know. Indians are defeating the Angels 7-4 in Cleveland after 4 innings. That's Joe Smith. So Castro in the A's bullpen, Joe Smith in the Blue Jays bullpen.
Looks like he's going to start the 7th. Did not pitch last night. His name has surfaced as a possible trade piece. He's been around a few clubs.
Swing and a miss. Ezekiel Carrera is strikeout victim number 9 for Sonny Gray.
The good, hard, sinking fastball. And Carrera couldn't get under it. And I say under because some hitters seem that now they try to do that a little bit more, where they'll get under the ball.
So here's Kevin Pillar. Pillar is 0 for 6 in the series. Chapman has it. In time, side retired, hitting a runner left. So 9 strikeouts through 6 innings for Sonny Gray. 7th inning coming up. A's trail 4-1. Baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. Would the Rangers trade Yu Darvish? Maybe. He's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. That's a possibility. Giancarlo Stanton cruising along. You know, has 32 home runs. He had a couple last night. He did that against the Rangers. And Cody Bellinger is one of the great stories in baseball. A rookie first baseman. He has 28 home runs And I don't think he got called. I don't think he was with the Dodgers in April at all.
I don't think so.
It was sometime in June they called him.
And he just came up because of an injury, and he started playing so well.
Chris Davis rips one toward left center field. That's going to go all the way to the wall. And Chris Davis will dig for second, and he'll have a double. So 2 doubles in the ball game for Chris Davis. Good start for the A's here in the 7th. That's going to do it, I think, for Cesar Valdez.
I'm really surprised he started this inning. Right? Joe Smith was ready, and maybe John Gibbons wanted to see what else he could get out of it. Maybe just want to give a standing ovation from the crowd, which they're going to give him as he departs, and rightfully so.
So 6+ innings for Cesar Valdez, and he was good tonight. He leaves with a 4-1 lead. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
California Ford dealers, Sonny Gray. Sonny in Canada, 6 innings pitched, 4 runs, 0 earned runs. He had 9 ground ball outs, 9 strikeouts, no fly ball outs. But Sonny really made his own error by trying to get the runner at second base. Opened up turned out to be a 4-run inning, and that's where it stands now. A's trailing 4-1. But Sonny Gray, we shall see, as the trading deadline is next Monday. He's scheduled to pitch next Sunday, which would be in Oakland, as the A's will be returned to the Coliseum for the weekend series against the Twins, followed by 2 against the Giants, 2 in San Francisco against the Giants. But right now trailing 4-1 in the 7th inning with the new pitcher Joe Smith. Finally got another Smith in there.
Yep. This one's pretty good. We've seen a lot of him. Spent a bit of time with the Angels, and then was a free agent. Signed with the Blue Jays this past offseason. Got a 1-year deal. 36th game. Just came back from the disabled list, did Joe Smith.
I can't remember who it was with, but he had got a huge contract as a setup reliever. Is that with Cleveland, or is Cleveland Angels? Somebody.
Angels.
But
yeah.
the Angels.
Angels
okay.
gave him the 3-year deal.
Yeah, because it was one of the first that you'd see that. But that man is man of the night. Valdez with 6 plus 5. Hits, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. And Kipe, it's amazing. In 4 innings on April the 20th, he threw 76 pitches. In 4 innings, he threw 77 tonight in 6 plus. He just threw a few more strikes. 4 very good appearances in AAA. Got him a call to the big leagues to make the start tonight. And trying to see his clubs hang on and give him a win.
1-2 the count to Lowry. Healy to follow. Check swing roller right to Steve Scarsoni. Former Blue Jay Liam Hendricks starting to throw.
See how the bullpen bench is elevated. Guys going up the stairs, and so they can see the game instead of having to look through the wire fence.
Yeah, they got a nice little perch up there that they could sit.
It's perfect, yeah. There it is. Kick back and relax a little bit. Go down and throw. Got to be able to see, which is good.
Blue Jays have the same thing out in left center field. They got a perch, but somebody lost a bet out there and had to sit by himself. Hey, how you doing? Good.
Sitting with all your friends. Because everybody else is down below. They'd rather look through the wire.
Something's not right there. 2-2 pitch is belted. Right center field. Batista caught it.
Wow, that's amazing. What a play by Batista. Jed Lowry can't believe it. And maybe the ball was hooking enough back to him that he's able to catch it. But boy, Jed crushed it. See it hooking. And Batista running right into it. If it had been slicing, it wouldn't have gotten to it. But reached up, lunged for it, made the play, robbed Jed Lowry of extra bases. And a run batted in with that tremendous play. And he can play some right field. He's got a very strong arm. And Jed Lowry can't believe it, but he's been around the big leagues long enough to know that sometimes tremendous plays are made, even when you hit the ball the hardest.
Yeah, I mean, that play right there, that's as good or better than a sliding or diving play.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you looked at it, he reached up right at the last moment.
Actually, the ball was past him.
And it was past him a little bit. Yep. So Healy looking for his first hit tonight. This would be a good time for it. See if they can get Chris Davis home. It's grounded right side, right to Smoke. Smoke was playing way over. So he scoops it up, runs to the bag, 2 away.
Well, last night, Biagini came in to start the 6th inning, 5 innings for Liriano. He walked the first batter, got a double play, and the A's did not get another base runner from the rest of the night. And trying to do something differently tonight against the bullpen, and that's what it's going to be after Valdez going 6+.
So Matt Chapman steps up. Chris Davis now at third with 2 outs. Pitch is inside. Chapman has walked and struck out.
You probably see the pitches. Smith has a little drop down slider that likes to throw the fastball in. So fastball and sliders away. There goes Martin again inside. Probably a little more of the plate, but good downward movement. Here's the motion. He's always been kind of sidearm and a little hop at the end. Square himself up to the batter at home plate.
Slider for a strike. A little up, but a strike nonetheless.
Let's not forget that Matt Chapman seeing every pitcher that he sees for the first time. And it's just, I mean, anything he does the remainder of this season, he's already hit 5 home runs. It'll be a special time for him once he gets to know the pitchers.
So good job by Joe Smith. He comes in, retires all 3 hitters, and the A's do not score. 7th inning stretch coming up.
on NBC Sports California is brought to you by the 2017 Jeep Cherokee with an EPA estimated 30 highway miles per gallon. By Southwest, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. By AAA, what does your insurance do when it's not doing insurance? It should do more. Go to AAA.com for more details. And by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica.
So bottom of the 7th inning, and the Blue Jays trying to make it 2 in a row over the A's. They lead 4-1. And here comes Liam Hendriks when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Hendriks 3-1 with a 5.13 ERA, his 44th appearance. He has been a Blue Jay in his career.
And it's when he became a reliever and out of the starting rotation into the bullpen, and that time became pretty good and started throwing harder. Didn't have to try to pace himself.
On the left field line, but foul. So Hendriks, originally with the Twins, Blue Jays claimed him off waivers. In 2014, made 3 starts for the Blue Jays, but then was traded to the Kansas City Royals. At the end of the year, the Royals traded him back to the Blue Jays. And then that's when he had a really good year. 2015, at the end of that year, the Blue Jays traded him to the A's. So he was technically a Blue Jay twice. And now in his 2nd year with the Athletics. Traded for Jesse Chavez. Well, Liam Hendriks knows all about the very nice city of Toronto.
Absolutely.
Two and two the count to Ryan Goins.
Probably the big hit of the night. 3-2 pitch. A's trailing by just 1 in the unearned run, but his 2-run double followed by a single or double by Bautista. 4 runs, all unearned. But 4 runs nonetheless, and that's where it's been so far. Now 4-1.
Swing and a foul tip pops in and out of the glove of Maxwell. Bautista to follow, and then Russell Martin here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Another foul ball. Another night game tomorrow, then a day game on Thursday. And then the A's will be back home. A quick homestand.
Yes, it is. But a longer one considering the 2
that
Giants
helps.
games. So at
Helps
least
the
across the
situation.
bay, you could stay at home.
So tomorrow it'll be Paul Blackburn and Marco Estrada. Coverage begins with A's pregame live at 3 o'clock. So Blackburn, who's pitched well for the A's in his first 4 big league starts, against the veteran Marco Estrada. Simeon has it. Throws in time. Goins is retired.
Always nice to see the A's when they do not take batting practice. They're still out on the field taking infield practice. Something that Bob Melvin insisted on when he took over the job in 2011. As reported by the guys. I think Joe Stiglitz doing the interviews. So Chip Hale, bench coach. Steve Scarsone, third base coach, and Scott Emerson. Of course, they were two previous guys were out hitting ground balls, and I think that's very important to get the blood circulating, get accustomed to the ball coming off the turf. Of course, they did it last night as well, but tonight no BP. Taking ground balls though, just to kind of get loose.
Batista had an RBI double in the second inning. And now it's 2-0. The Minnesota Twins will be in town this weekend. Twins coming into today just 2 games back of the second wild card. And just 3.5 games back of the Cleveland Indians in the division. So the A's will be facing a playoff hopeful team. Actually, the A's are home quite a bit. If you look at the Twins, and then 2 home against the Giants, then 2 away against the Giants, and then in Anaheim for 3. But then after that, the A's come back home for a 9-game homestand. So really just that trip to Anaheim is the only time we leave the Bay Area. No swing. Check out the Twins just hanging around. The Royals a 1.5 back. The Twins 3.5. So that's a good division.
Well, a division for Paul Molitor, the manager of the Twins, to come back after a horrible season last year, playing very good baseball. And they've made some trades and trying to prove themselves.
You get the sense too that the Indians are still a very, very good team, and they're still the favorites to win that, but maybe not as much the favorites as they were 2 months ago, Ray, because they don't look quite as dominant as they did last year. Offensively, not as good as they were last year, the Indians.
Yeah. Well, they signed Encarnacion. They also lost Napoli, Rajay Davis, and I thought Ty Van Berkeley said something very important whenever the Indians were in Oakland. He said even though they lost, and we always talked about the 2 starting pitchers that were not available, and they had Brantley was out, but he said they made adjustments. And that one guy right there, Rajay Davis, the big home run in Game 7. But when you go through the postseason, and the Indians defeated the Blue Jays in the League Championship Series to go to the World Series, everybody has good years. And all of a sudden you go the next year, you don't have those same types of years, then it's a little bit more of a struggle. But they probably learned last year of what it's like, and going down the stretch, it's probably going to help them because of what they did learn from last year.
1-0 the count to Martin, so Batista aboard on the walk.
One thing Terry Francona did say in losing Mike Napoli, first baseman, good hitter, but the most important thing, great in the clubhouse, great teammate. And you go to postseason, you're down the stretch, it's good to have somebody that can solidify your team. Of course, Napoli seems every place he would play, they go to postseason.
Up 2-0 the count. It's Tapera also warming up with Dominic Leone. Batista does not have a real big lead at first. And now it's 3-0.
Last night, Chris Smith left trailing by a run in the 7th inning. The Blue Jays scored an extra run, which made it 4-2, and that was the difference in the game. Tonight, they are already trailing by 3 runs and do not need to see the Blue Jays add on.
That one is a little bit low. Back-to-back 1-out walks here in the 7th. Scott Emerson's going to chat. This should be a fun at bat to watch, though, Ray. Liam Hendricks, he likes to come right at guys.
That's right.
And Josh Donaldson, he's got one thing on his mind: hit it as hard as you can and try to knock it around.
And that's why his Twitter handle is Bringer of Rain.
Bringer of Rain.
As he swings hard enough that he can bring rain.
So he's 2 for 11 with 6 strikeouts. So that's going to tick Donaldson off.
Because as much as he knows what goes on, he knows those numbers.
First pitch to Donaldson. Here it is. And it's a strike. Donaldson has struck out and he has walked twice. These pitchers have walked 4 tonight. They walked 6 last night. Defense plays Donaldson straight away. Now 2-1. Smoke will be the next hitter.
What was wrong with that?
Looked like a good pitch.
Wow. It's right down the middle. Hendricks a little walk around the mound. I don't blame him. Maybe it was too good.
It was way too good to call a strike.
I mean,
it was too much of a strike to call it a strike. Reaches for that one.
How good is your memory? How about this from last year, from Liam Hendricks to Josh Donaldson? And then that wasn't liked, and Jay Happ, what did he do to Chris Davis? And that's a warning. That's a warning, and that's a warning. So, a little history. Guys never remember things like that, though.
And that's where you're. And we don't know who's doing it on purpose. Who knows? But that's where you're Chris Davis. You're like, I don't have anything to do with that, and I just got hit.
That's right. Why me?
I'm just like the cleanup hitter, so I get hit.
I'm a nice guy.
And that one is inside on 2-2. So now full count.
Let's see, he was diving there.
Yep.
That was close because it seemed close because Donaldson was looking outside. I mean, he's trying to go outside. Look at the front foot. He's going, and then it comes up and in. It's not that far off the plate. Liam says he doesn't throw sliders 3-2. He did challenge him.
Came right at him.
Yeah. Just a rare back, throw him hard. That's the same pitch that was not called strike 3 by Tim Timmons, who ignored the location and said it was ball 2.
So another 3-2. Runners not going, and the ball foul back again. So good battle here. Another fastball, and again hit high and foul.
And in reality, he's not getting around on him. He's slow, or at least behind each one of the fastballs that he's gotten. And you'd have to think that he's eventually going to start looking fastball. His pitch number 11 in the at bat is about to be thrown.
Hendricks again ready. Here it comes. And again foul back coming right at him. That one 96 miles an hour.
I think there's a purpose in this at bat. It's like, I'm not going to try to fool you. I'm just going to try to rear back and throw it by you, or at least get you to make it out on a fastball and not mess around with a slider. You figure after fouling off 5, this at bat started 0-2. And in reality, probably should have been struck out already, but Liam Hendricks continued to throw the good fastball. Would he dare make the change and go to the slider?
Strike 3 called, a fastball at the knees.
That was worse than the one earlier.
Donaldson, a very slow walk back. He thought it was low.
Lower part of the strike zone. That's a perfectly thrown fastball. 96 right on the inside corner. Down at the knees.
Well, 3-2 with a couple of runners on base. I'm surprised Donaldson didn't take a rip at it.
I agree.
I mean, not only is that a close pitch, the replay showed it looked like it was a strike. Fastball outside to Justin Smoak. Smoak 1 for 3 tonight.
The guy umpiring second base knows what a strike is. His name's Will Little. Remember him in New York in that Saturday afternoon game, and he'll be behind the plate Thursday afternoon. And found out later that he was graded at 98% in that afternoon's game on his percentage of strikes versus balls.
I think some of us needed that grading system when we were in school. That umpire grading system.
That would be perfect, wouldn't it?
I know I did.
Well, how about this? Oh, gone. 2017 at the Coliseum. And left and center. That's one of the ones that helped get him to the All-Star game. That was in June.
Here sitting on a 1-1 count from Liam Hendricks. And now 2-1.
But one thing Liam Hendricks is doing in this inning, he's been aggressive. He's throwing nothing but fastballs, and you have to like that because as a reliever, you have a good fastball. And if you can throw 5 by a good fastball hitter, or at least having fouled them back, and Josh Donaldson 5 with 2 strikes, it's a pretty good fastball. And no reason to mess around with anything else.
Breaking ball, and that was a good one.
That's a strike, Mr. Timmons. That's called a slider. Wow. Well, you're determined, and that's what Josh Donaldson called out, that same location, just with a fastball.
Chase ball 4. So full count, 2 outs. Runners will take off. Batista at second, Martin at first. .37 pitches in this inning for Liam Hendricks. Wow. He's walked a couple of long at bats.
So there's no sign given, just the target. High fastball. He wants to go back up the ladder.
And it was a breaking ball.
Breaking ball, 3-2. But see, there's where you've heard me talk about adding and subtracting for a pitcher. They said, well, you can't do that because the infielders need to know what's coming. Every time a catcher goes to the mound, they talk about it. He doesn't give a sign.
So
they don't know anyway. So what's the difference? But that usually is the reasoning for not having a pitcher change the signs on his own, which could speed up the game dramatically.
And he stayed with a breaking ball, and he strikes out Smoke. So Liam Hendriks has a great battle with Donaldson, again with Smoke, and he strikes them both out. 4-1, Jays lead after 7.
Battle of the Bay presented by Gilead Sciences as the A's will host the Giants next Monday and Tuesday. Man, it's happening fast. Bay Area supremacy is on the line as we rekindle members of 1989 plus. Great giveaways for each game. Welcome to the Beast Bay t-shirt. That's on Monday. And Hella Hustle towels on Tuesday. You can visit athletics.com/bay for all the information. That's athletics.com/bay. Athletics.com/bay. It's a good jersey. There's the old throwback from the Kansas City A's and early Oakland A's with the old vest.
Hey, with that mustache, he could have played with you guys.
Just turn it up a little bit and beat Raleigh. Sunglasses on top of the cap, cool. So I mean, that's sun's out bright, but you put the sunglasses on top of the cap.
New pitcher Ryan Tepera. We saw him last night.
Blue jacket's got the handlebar mustache.
Get turned up just a little bit.
The great late Bill Keegan, who's inducted in Cooperstown on Saturday, had the handlebar, a lot of wax on the mustache.
So 1-1 the count when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Tepera, 5-1, 3.40 ERA, having a very nice season, and pretty obvious he's their setup guy, Ray.
Yep, exactly.
Last night, in pitching the 8th inning, he had a 3-up, 3-down inning, and he faced Maxwell. Maxwell came in as a pinch hitter in that 8th inning. And Maxwell grounded out. To pitch, high fastball. So it probably helped Maxwell that he faced him last night. See if it helps him enough to get a base hit. A's trailing 4-1. Blue Jays got all 4 of their runs in the 2nd inning. The A's got their 1 run in the 4th. Another slow night offensively for the Athletics, but still time. Rajai Davis will hit next, and then Matt Joyce.
It's still just a 3-run game. Time to go and time to do something, and you don't want to see Osuna come in the 9th inning. Struck out the side last night in the 9th. The game against the Tigers with 2 outs. First Maxwell, a walk against Francisco Rodriguez, a double by Matt Joyce, 2-run single by Adam Rosales. The A's won the game on Saturday night. Blew another save on Sunday. Maybe Maxwell could get something started tonight.
Bounced right to Tulowitzki, who was shaded near second base. So Bruce Maxwell is 0 for 3 tonight. And with 1 out, Rajai Davis will hit. Rajai Davis 0 for 2 in this game. Rajai Davis taps it. Tepera has to hurry, and they get the speedy Rajai Davis. So 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning.
Rajai Davis busting it down the line, and what was really interesting to see from right field was Jose Bautista backing up in case the ball had gotten past him because of the speed of Rajai. Hustled hard, but good play by Tepera to get the out. And the ball right into the runner. Smoked a good play also. I'd like to see the outfielders moving, and that's what Bautista was doing with the throw. Even though it was a good one, he was there just in case it wasn't.
First pitch to Matt Joyce, down and in. Joyce a single, a double, and a fly ball to center field. And he scored the A's only run. Good tight slider from Tepera.
That's why a reliever coming out of the pen just come in and throw 2 pitches. Good hard sinking fastball, a good slider. Don't need much more than that. Get loose fast, and that's why they do get loose as quickly as they do. Couple of pitches, air it out, and come in.
Good pitch there, 1 and 2. Tight, just like a cut fastball.
Yep. Got a good cutter, and it's high velocity cut fastball as that one was. Just slight movement, 90 miles per hour. Breaks just enough to stay in the strike zone.
So 2 and 2 the count. Last night the Blue Jays bullpen 4 hitless innings. Ray, you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah,
so there's what the A's are up against. Tonight, Joe Smith retired all 3 hitters he faced in the 7th inning. Tepera trying to do the same thing here in the 8th, but he's run the count full to Matt Joyce.
But you know, the cut fastball is the one pitch that as a hitter you have to be thinking, is he going to throw it again or is he going to throw a fastball? And the cutter takes the hitter away from the sweet part of the bat if he does throw it. And if he throws it, it'll probably be like the Mariano Rivera special, down and in to the lefty.
And he did, and a good take by Joyce.
Fans honor the A's Big 3 with a purchase of 25+ field level tickets for this Sunday, July the 30th day game. That's against the Minnesota Twins. Everyone in your group will receive a limited edition Big 3 bobblehead. It features Barry Zito, Tim Hudson, and Mark Mulder. Group package is the only way to secure one of these amazing baubles. Visit athletics.com/group today. That's athletics.com/group. a bobble of 3 guys on one bobble.
Smoke with a nice play, ranging quickly to his right, beats Simeon to the bag, side, retired. A walk, runner left, bottom of the 8th coming up. Blue Jays lead 4-1.
Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Hey, game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 1-5-2 for the A's, 4-5-0 for the Blue Jays. Sonny Gray gave up 4 runs, no earned runs. It was his own error that was very costly, and that was in that 2nd inning. Couple of hits for Joyce, couple of hits for Davis. Cesar Valdez, 6 innings, and he was very good. That's the story. The A's have one more chance against the Blue Jays bullpen. Simone Castro comes in for the Athletics. So Castro will face Kendrys Morales, leading it off here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Morales in the offseason signed a 3-year, $33 million deal with the Blue Jays. And correct me if I'm wrong, Ray, but he signed that deal before Edwin Encarnacion signed with the Indians.
Exactly.
And I got the feeling that the Blue Jays just said, you know what, we're not going to be able to sign Encarnacion for what he wants, but we can get a pretty good DH in Kendrys Morales for $33 million.
Yeah.
It's about half of probably what the contract that Encarnacion got. He was hit by that pitch.
It wasn't hit hard, but almost acting like he thought it was thrown at intentionally. Like he backed off enough, grazed him, of course, going at his knees. I'm sure that didn't feel very good. Took a long time to get to first base. Yeah, Encarnacion got 60, and probably, considering what they thought they were going to have to pay, is probably in the neighborhood. Maybe he thought he was going to get more. Encarnacion did.
And that one is a curveball that is way inside. Tulowitzki bails out, but he also knows that it was a curveball.
Yeah, you can see the curveball just floated in and got under it and never did break.
Right in there for a strike. The Angels have come all the way back to tie the Indians in Cleveland. Indians had a 7-0 lead through 2 innings. It's now 7-7 in the top of the 7th. And the Angels just 3 games behind the 2nd wild card spot in the American League. Can you believe that? Angels are 49 and 51, so they feel like they're in it. How can you not?
Amazing.
So 1-2 the count to Tulowitzki, who is 1 for 3. And he hits that one to right field on a line, and that's a base hit. Morales will stop at second. 2 on, nobody out. Tulowitzki's 2 for 4.
Well, after curveball almost hit him, a fastball down the middle of the plate. And then finally gets a fastball, came right back to the middle of the plate. And remember when Flores took Valdez deep in New York on Saturday night? It was similar. He overthrew it. He actually threw hard at 96 and ended up being a home run. This one a base hit. And Joyce thought Morales might be heading to third. He has come out of the game now for a pinch runner.
And that's Darwin Barney, who is the pinch runner. The Blue Jays know the importance of any extra runs you can get late in the game.
Morales had to be thinking he was thrown at. The way he was in the dugout and guys were talking. I mean, this is a 3-run game. Nobody's going to be throwing anybody, I don't think, in the 9th inning. 8th inning, especially when you're trailing. And Castro is just a little bit off with his control.
A's thought Carrera may be bunting. They still do, although in the first pitch he had a full swing at it.
Well, if Morales was still at second, there would be no bunt attempt probably, but this is a different situation with the speed of Barney.
This time he does bunt. Castro has it, looks to third, throws to third, and they get the out there. And Simone Castro got off the mound quickly. And they get the runner at third. So well executed defense on the bunt play.
Matt Chapman, excuse me, Matt Chapman almost came off the back too quickly again this time, and there's no reason to stretch, and kind of timed it, but the illusion of coming off too soon, he got back to third. And then, I mean, there's no chance for 2. So just stretch, get 1 out, and be happy with that. And maybe the wildness of Castro helped with Cabrera trying to bunt, which he bunted too hard. Nice play by Castro to get the force out.
Pilar, who takes first pitch for a strike.
So why the A's like Castro, he's got a great arm. Throws the ball hard. It's just a matter of location, and sometimes too much with the pitches the middle of the plate coming back, not exactly where he needs to be throwing.
Pilar, shallow right center. Joyce makes the play, and it's going to be a double play. Darwin Barney, I don't know what he was doing.
Wow.
So Barney gets doubled up off second, and the Blue Jays do not score. Last shot for the A's coming up.
4-run second inning. This young man with a 3-2 pitch just featured one on a fastball outside down the left field line. That would score 2. And then he would score on a Bautista double. But that was the huge hit. Goins with a 2-out, 2-run double. That would make it a 3-0 game. 4-0 after Bautista. That's all the runs the Blue Jays have scored, but still lead 4-1. All 4 runs unearned as Roberto Osuna, who struck out the side last night, in for the 9th again tonight.
He'll start with Yonder Alonso. Last night he faced Rajay Davis, Marcus Semien, Ryan Healy. 2 swinging strikeouts and 1 looking.
Well, he's no Valdez with 87 to 89.
That one is bounced through the left side, and that's a base hit. So Yonder Alonso beats the shift. He gets his first hit. He's need to get the merry-go-round going here.
First hit off the bullpen last 2 nights. Last night you talked about just the walk. Tonight just the walk. That was last inning by Tepera. Then good job of hitting by Yonder Alonso. He'd been trying to do it, but Valdez didn't throw it hard enough for him to hit the ball on the ground.
Here's Chris Davis, who swings and misses at a pitch that was off the plate.
Yeah, that's a good cutter that he is throwing, and throwing it well.
Davis has struck out and then doubled in the 4th and doubled in the 7th, and he's got an RBI. Same pitch, 0-2.
Well, this one down a little bit more with the break, but outside as he continues to stay outside as he did last night with pretty much everything.
Got him swinging. 3 pitches. Chris Davis is gone. So 1 out here in the 9th.
Well, breaking ball after breaking ball. He did go all 3, and why do anything else? Actually, the cut fastball to Yonder Alonso, so 4 pitches so far, and not 1 has been straight. Make it 5 pitches.
So here's Lowry, who is 0 for 3. Hits that one. It's jammed a little bit. So looking for his 26th save. He's 3rd in the league in saves behind Colome and Kinsler. Kimbrel on the list. Giles from Houston. Fastball is high, 94 miles an hour. Lowry in the series is 0 for 6. On deck is Healy. That one is down the right field line, just foul. He's needed that to be fair.
Yes, they did. Well, I tell you, the cut fastball, and Mariano Rivera is going to go in the first ballot Hall of Fame in a couple of years. And he did this so often. Not this ball just foul. These lines are painted on, so no chalk, but still in foul territory. But Osuna's got that hard cut fastball in on the lefties, and something Mariano Rivera would consistently do.
A's post-game live presented by State Farm is coming up immediately following the ball game. Brody, Stu, and our insider Joe Stiglitz waiting in the studio. So 2-2 the count. It's been Valdez, Smith, Tepera, and Osuna.
It's almost like Osuna does not want to throw his fastball, and everything is moving. The cutter, the slider. So it looked like the one, the changeup finally going to the fastball away.
Lowry spoils it.
The scary thing there, as Martin gave the sign, the target on the fastball, and then he changed to 3, but his pitcher didn't see it. So fortunately for him, he got in the right position for the fastball. But that was a rare four-seam fastball.
Another 2-2 pitch. Drill to center. Pilar going back. He's going to get there. He makes the catch.
That was the changeup that Martin had called, but he shook him off. So Jed Lowry, a very frustrating night for him. A couple ground balls to the right side, and then 2 line drives, both outs, and he's 0 for 4 for the night. Pulled the string, which is something very unusual for Osuna. Throws everything hard, but that time a changeup. And Jed Lowry hit it hard, but right to Pilar. He can cover some outfield ground.
So 2 outs. It's up to Healy. First pitch to Healy. Swing and a miss. That's the good fastball right there. So Healy's going to regroup a little bit. Ground out, fly out, and another ground out for Healy. He's 0 for 3 and 1 for 7 in the series. Smoke coming over, but it's going to be into the seats. Healy was the final out of the game last night. He does not want to be the final out again tonight. Crowd, it's a big one, over 40,000, and they are on their feet. In the dirt, blocked by Russell Martin.
They have to figure that it's going to be hard for him to get another fastball like he got on the first pitch.
And Healy checks his swing. He did not go. 2-2 the count.
On the breaking pitch, and Healy started and just continued to go forward with his body, knock the bat.
Osuna threw 16 pitches last night. He's about to throw his 16th tonight. Here it is, and it's lined. What a play by Donaldson! Throws across in time, and that's the ball game. So a night full of frustration offensively for the A's. Maybe we shouldn't be surprised that would end like that.
Yeah.
What a play by Donaldson.
Well, had to go to his right, to his legs, his knees, got up with a perfect throw and gets Ryan Healy, who's robbed of a double. So between Lowry and Healy in this inning, it could have been a different game for the Athletics, but that's their defense, and Josh Donaldson, one of the best at third base.
So Cesar Valdez gets his second major league win. Roberto Osuna gets his 26th save. And for the second night in a row, the Blue Jays beat the Athletics. Time of game was 2 hours and 55 minutes. The attendance, 40,624. Final score tonight from Rogers Center in Toronto. The Blue Jays 4,